What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Movie Emporium's movie review of Farewell, Amor, the newest film from director Ekwa Msangi. Before we begin, hey, if you like my channel, cool, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find out what's coming next. If you like any of these videos, awesome. Hit the like button and comment below on any video that you watch, including this one. So, living in America, becoming a national citizen or living as an immigrant is an arduous process. It really is. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. There's a lot of paperwork, a lot of, tape and stuff like that that has to be kind of cut through. And so if you have something going on in another country that is considered a war or something like that, it can cause either further problems. So in the essence of this movie, Farewell, Amor, we have a guy named Walter, or Amor as his family calls him, who's been living in the States for about 17 years as an immigrant. He works hard. He works as a taxi job. He's been trying for years to get his family into America, and he is like any typical hardworking person. He loves his family, but he hasn't seen them for 17 years. And so one day, after this war that has been ravaging his country, which is why he left, he's able to get clearance to have his family come to America. And since the fact that it's been 17 years, he pretty much doesn't know his family anymore. It's kind of sad to see when you first start delving into the relationships of this family, this unit. You realize that he's lived in a one-bedroom apartment, so now we have two other people coming into this apartment, and it's kind of the journey and kind of the exploration of what happens when family members don't necessarily know each other anymore. I mean, when he left, his daughter, who is big into dancing in this movie, he hasn't seen her since she was a baby. So this movie is a really heartbreaking movie. It really is. It's a fascinating movie. It's a really uplifting movie. But the idea of a war-torn, war-ravaged country is nothing new. It really isn't. And this is kind of the embodiment or the kind of I don't know, the effect of what happens when somebody is trying to basically better themselves and trying to get their family to come over with them eventually. And the performances in this movie are raw, they're intense. The Amor Walter character, whose unfortunate name I can't pronounce, I do apologize. He is giving a performance of just somebody who loves his family, wants to do everything for his family, but just when push comes to shove, the kind of differences in nature of what he's experienced as an American compared to what his wife, who is very religious and very like in her set in her ways, is really, it really shows in the conflicting nature that these two have with one another. Because like I said, Amor Walter is just having difficulty dealing with his wife. They try to make love one night, that doesn't go well. They try to their views on life have completely changed. And the daughter, who's now 17 years old, like I said, is big into dancing, which conflicts with the mother, who, like I said, who's very traditional. And she has a boyfriend in this movie, and it kind of conflicts with the mother. And it's just about the traditional ways versus the new era ways, and how those two collapse and how those two kind of collide with one another. And it makes for just, like I said, a very heartbreaking nature of a movie. But in the ways that it's uplifting is it shows you how people, one, can change, and how if you mold people properly, if you kind of let people, if you kind of like almost like open up yourself to the situation at hand, you can do anything that's possible. And the mother, who was played by Zainab, is fantastic in this movie. You really feel for her plight. You understand where she's coming from. She's coming from a world that is completely different than what we know. And to see her have to transform and to kind of grow into a more modern person is really hard for her to do. So when she goes to clash with her own daughter or with her own husband, it's a really sad thing to see, but you kind of get where they're coming from. And it's the same thing with the daughter. You watch how she acts and how she reacts to everything. It's still hard for her to accept her father and stuff like that, but it's a little easier in the simple fact that she can, when it comes to young kids and stuff like that, this is even like us when we were kids, our views on reality kind of shift from the ages of 12, 15 to like 20, almost 30 years old. So you can kind of mend yourself, you can kind of mold yourself into a much better person. And that's what she is starting to slowly do in this movie. So to watch her have to deal with the old tradition versus the new tradition because her father is much more supportive is something I'm sure that was just like nerve wracking in her brain. And if this was a real character, it was just like you can imagine what she has to go through, but she loves her mom so much because she's only known her mother for pretty much all her life that she does come to blows with her dad. So, but overall, I think this movie setting, I think what the director is doing, I think what the director is trying to represent in this movie is a really powerful message and a really powerful statement on what happens when people are separated and the ideas and ideologies that change when two people who have not seen each other for a while that have had certain relationships come back into the fold and see that kind of bubble start to crack and burst eventually. It's a really good movie. I don't know where it'll sit in the Oscar season, but I think it's a movie worth watching whenever it comes to VOD or theaters or whatever they do with it. But it's a great movie with a great message, very toned down pairing of a situation, and gives us great character moments that really kind of shine throughout the entire movie. So, but that's it. That's my take on Farewell Amor. Like I said, it's really good. So, but if you've seen this movie before, let me know in the comments below what you thought of the movie. Do you agree? Do you disagree? All that good stuff. Let me know if you haven't seen it, what you want, if you're interested in, or if you've ever heard of this movie, but it is what it is. But anyways, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. Hey, if you like this video, awesome. If you like any other videos, awesome. Hit that like button. And we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.